Today's episode of TWIMMO is brought to you by World of Tanks. If you guys want to check out World of Tanks, which you definitely want to check out, it's gboffer.com/tanks. And when you fill out your process there, your little invite code, make sure to put the code GBTV in the invite code, and you're going to get some pretty cool free stuff, including like 300, 500, free 300. No, not 300. 500. 500 gold, 3 days of premium, new tank. T2LT, all that good stuff. Check it out today. gboffer.com/tanks. What's up, everybody? Welcome to TWIMMO. It's not really TWIMMO this week. It sort of is, but it isn't. Episode 191. It's June 22nd, 2014. You're watching Game Breaker. I'm Gary Gannon, and today we're going to talk about, well, we're going to talk about E3. So we're going to throw the MMO thing kind of out the window. We are going to talk about some MMO stuff, though, but we're going to talk about a bunch of games, just kind of run through a little bit of a recap of the E3 2014. Joining me, as always, Mr. Troy Blackburn, Noob Fridge. What's up, buddy?
Hello, Internet and Mr. Gannon. How are you today?
Excellent, excellent, sir. Good to be here. Good to be here. Joining us this week as well from the Republic, Mr. Larry Everett. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right.
All right, let's talk about some, well, I would say MMOs, but instead I'm just going to say games. We're going to talk about games, which is...
Games. Let's talk.
We can just be gamers this week.
Well, let's start out. Let's talk about the keynotes. I don't know. Did everybody watch all of them? I actually missed one of them, so I can't really comment on the Nintendo one. But I pretty much watched all the rest of them. What was the highlight for you?
I missed the Sony one. Sony one was the only one that I missed.
Oh, Sony was a good one. You might want to go back and watch. That was a good one.
I am disappointed that I didn't.
Did anything kind of jump out at any of the conferences though, and really kind of like shock you this year?
Not really, and to be honest, I mean there were some good conferences being had, but they at the end of the day, now that what are we like a week past that, they've all kind of run together just a little bit. Now some of them were better than others. I think Sony's was really good, but at the end of the day, they were all kind of showing kind of the they would show a game, then Ubisoft would show the game, and then Microsoft would show the game. It all just kind of it was solid, but there were for me there was a lack of spectacular moments. Now I think Larry feels a little different about that.
Yeah, a little bit different. I will say that the mainstays like Microsoft, again, I didn't see all of Sony. When I say didn't see Sony, I saw little clips and here and there of it. I didn't see the whole thing when it was live. But yeah, none of the mainstays, none like Microsoft and Ubisoft and Sony and EA didn't who usually are like leading the pack, didn't blow me away. But I actually loved Nintendo's, at least pieces of Nintendo's conference. I thought
people love that one. The Super Mario level editor is what really blew everybody away, I think.
That one was mine. That one was mine. I was like, oh my god, that's amazing. Okay, so to give you a little backstory on that, I do have children, and they go to websites all the time and building different levels and stuff like that, and one of them is a Mario builder, and it is amazing to see that kind of thing actually being ported over into an actual Nintendo system supported by Nintendo. Actually, it looks so much better made than any of the ones that they have online and whatnot. So I'm really excited to see that one because it looks really great, and it'll be awesome to try to build a level that somebody can't beat or something along that line. I like that kind of stuff. Like I like when Portal in Portal where you can make your own levels in Portal and that kind of thing. In fact, it goes as far back as like Excitebike. I like making levels in Excitebike. So that kind of thing is really cool. Where you got a Mario Maker, but also at the same time, there's a couple other things that kind of stood out to me as well. The Zelda game, not Hyrule Warriors. The others, the one that they teased,
the open world,
the big open world one, yeah,
that looked really cool too. It basically boils down. Okay, so I had made this promise or whatever that I would never ever buy a Nintendo Wii because I think they're silly in general. And there was nothing on a Wii for me. Okay, there was nothing on a Wii or a Wii U for that matter that I could not get on another console and it run better and look better. However, I'm going to have to go back on that promise that I made myself. I think I'm going to have to buy a Wii U.
Wow, that one title is going to make you purchase the console, huh?
Well, it's Mario Maker, it's Zelda, it's also the stuff they have coming out on Virtual Console. That kind of stuff is really, really nice. And I mean, yeah, I would buy it for those three things right there.
And a Mario Kart 8 bundle. I mean, you can get a Wii U with the Mario Kart 8 included.
That is all the rage right now, is the Mario Kart 8 for sure. Crazy, people loving it.
Luigi Death Stare videos have consumed my life. Those are hilarious.
I mean, I haven't purchased a Nintendo console in quite a while. I do think that the Mario stuff is pretty cool. Not really my cup of tea, but it looked really cool. And I kind of agree with you, Troy, about just like there's cool stuff this year. There's definitely some really cool games, but nothing like. Remember last year the big thing was Watch Dogs, right? Just blew everybody out of the water. They were just like, "What is this?" And there was none of that moment. So, you know, the great moments for me. I mean, the highlights were, I mean, Far Cry 4. I loved 3. 4 is looking like it's going to be really cool. Destiny, of course, high up on my list of kind of, you know, high on the intrigue list for me. I want to get in there and see what that's more about. And of course, Uncharted 4 closing out that campaign. But yeah, there was no real like new IP, super amazing thing that no one really kind of didn't, you know, Nintendo kind of had the most unexpected stuff as far as announcements go. For anyone, I don't know. Who do you think won? Sony's conference was great. Who do you think won out of the keynotes? If we had to place your bets, because everyone loves to do this.
Oh man, if I had to choose one of the publishers that gave a keynote speech, probably Nintendo. I was thoroughly entertained. Some of the gameplay segments went a little long, but overall, that was fairly unique for E3, and I think it did a good job of getting our attention. Now Larry wants to buy a Wii U. Ever since Mario Kart 8 come out, I've been thinking about buying a Wii U. All of a sudden, there's reasons to buy a Wii U. But at the end of the day, I don't think any of those that gave the press conferences is who's won. And this has been out there a lot. Look at all the games. There were not all these great, big, huge, oh, wow moments, but it was solid, man. It was solid, chock full of games from beginning to end. I think the gamers won. And a lot of people have said that, but I think they keep saying that because it's true. So many great-looking games that are coming in the near future, you know, late this year, early next year, and it was just solid from beginning to end with just games that seemed interesting. Almost every one that popped up on the screen, I was like, you know, I think I might be interested in that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Nintendo winning this one, only because of just because of the presentation. I'm not saying that, you know, Nintendo had necessarily had like the best game or the games or the best showings of the games, but the presentation of it was it was memorable. I mean, the first, you know, the two presidents of the companies battling it out in with like Super Smash Brothers style, and then the amiibos. Those that was something that nobody else had, and tie-ins, and just I think just because of its uniqueness and the amount of different things like made Nintendo's stand out from everybody else. But just the keynote thing. Just the keynote.
I think everybody kind of feels the same way with that one for sure. It's just a kind of all right. Let's talk about this one here. Is kind of like now we're getting down and dirty. The MMO crowd. It's kind of a it's weird because this is like an indie sort of almost a uber nerdy kind of like whole idea of an MMO that's really gone mainstream and everybody's covering it. Journalists, especially across the video game landscape, are just like gaga over this game. And it's called No Man's Sky. It's made by the company who made Joe Danger of all people. Like you wouldn't expect something this ambitious to be coming out of a company or a developer out of that. But this is a procedurally generated, I guess you would say MMO in development that we first saw at the VGXs, and now we got to see a little bit more at E3. And how would you describe this for people out there, Troy, who may not understand why this has really captivated a lot of MMO players and just gamers?
Well, what it reminds me a lot of, just from the basic ideas that we know, because we haven't seen a ton about it, besides the fact that it's absolutely freaking gorgeous, and if you like video games at all, you can just look at it and you're like, ooh, pretty, I like it. it reminds me a little bit now, not just at the very core of the gameplay of Starbound, and there's probably a lot of people familiar with that, where you start on your home planet, you have your ship, and you have to gather your resources and get ready to move on to the next planet. And it's just getting out, giant open world, exploring, finding places, doing things, just seeing what there is to see. And if that's not what an MMO gamer likes to do, then I don't know what is. Just get out, explore, and find things. I mean, that's just... And it's gorgeous. I don't know. We just keep going back to it's gorgeous. Let's just talk about how pretty it is.
It's really interesting about the art direction of this game. There's just an interview I read with them about the art direction of the title, and they were asking about it. Like, and once they kind of nailed it on the head, it made total sense. Is that they surrounded themselves with images of old 70s like sci-fi novels, like the old school sci-fi books, the paperbacks that you'd have, like had all these like insanely colorful paintings and stuff in the 70s. You know, artists like Sid Mead and things like that kind of coming through. And that's kind of what they wanted to go for. But so this is a procedurally generated game, which sounds totally nerdy and techie, and it is. But basically, I mean, it's pretty intense of what this engine can actually do, because like when they create species of animals, let's say, none of them could possibly be the same. Like all the different shades of different things could be different colors on skin tones and things like that, because everything is created like on the fly. So they're not building this game of like, here is, you know, a quadrant of this species. They're built, or they possibly are putting them in certain climates, and it's more like an algorithm, I guess you would say, right? Is that how would you describe a procedurally generated game?
Yeah, it's going to be generated as you get out in the world and discover it. So every time you find something, it's got potential to be brand new or at least different from everything else you've seen. So
really, like what you're seeing,
it's going to be unique to explore.
You know, you're on this planet, you're on the ground, you jump in your ship, and you want to go straight up like they are right now and go to another planet. Like you just aim, and now you're in space and go somewhere else. So it's an insanely ambitious project. That everyone is just kind of going nuts over. I don't know, Lara, have you been paying attention to the No Man's Sky?
Briefly, the only thing that concerns me is that the video that they showed here is pretty much the same video that they've been showing for like the last year or so. I mean, it's not the same. I mean, there is differences, and somebody's going to call me on that and go, "Oh, but this is different. This is different." But it looks very, very similar. I mean, if I were to see the beginning of this video and then see the beginning of the other videos that have come out, they kind of look the same. So that concerns me regarding not necessarily how cool it is, because it absolutely sounds amazing. But what concerns me is how much can actually be done, and what kind of nuances are we going to see from one planet to the next, and that sort of thing. Is it going to be, I mean, when they say, you know, for instance, this brontosaurus kind of dinosaur that you see right here is the next planet, oh yeah, it's different. That one's brown and the other one's green. I mean, what kind of nuances are we looking here? What kind of exploration are we really looking at doing here? Or is it just, you know, is it just the same video that being?
Yeah, I mean, I can see what your concern is. At the same time, I get the sense from the team from the interviews that I've read and stuff is that their vision is much more ambitious than that. Yes, we haven't seen it yet. We have not seen it, but it doesn't sound like that's what they're aiming for. It sounds like they're aiming for a very, very diverse palette of environments and gameplay styles of things to do and explore. And you see dogfighting in this video and things like that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm actually, yeah, what they've said, I'm totally behind. You know what? If they could pull that off, then that sounds amazing. And it's just that we know it's a smaller studio. We know they don't necessarily have as much backing. We know that this kind of thing is going to take a lot of time to do and a lot of time to build. And so that's what I'm concerned about. What are we ultimately going to get? That's really what it boils down to.
The hype train is a dangerous ride, my friend.
It is. It absolutely is.
There's a big hype train.
Punch my ticket. I'm
Punch
all
my
aboard.
ticket as well. I'm kind of all aboard as well. I mean, it's refreshing to see a studio trying to actually do something really different and outside the box. I think that's why everybody's so excited, because, oh, it's not just a sequel to something. Oh, it's not just another clone of this. It's like, wow, they're really, really trying to do something somewhat different. But speaking of sequels, a sequel that I'm insanely excited about is The Witcher 3. Probably, I have to say The Witcher 2 is probably one of my favorite games of all time. All time. I loved it. I've played it multiple times. I'm about to play it again. I just love it. I don't know if you guys have played it. One was a little tough to get through. Story's amazing. Combat's a little tough to get through, a little hard, harsh. I don't advise doing it if you've never played a Witcher game. I'd just jump right into 2. Don't try and play 1. But now open world, massive, looks huge, looks gorgeous. Writing's always been stellar from CD Projekt. I don't know, probably the game I'm most excited about coming out of E3.
If you're not looking forward to this game, you're just not a gamer. I mean, what are you doing with your life if you're not excited about The Witcher 3?
Is it really the case? Is The Witcher that popular? Like, I feel like it's still not. Like, I feel like Wild Hunt is now getting to the point of fever pitch of like people are really getting it, but I feel like the last one was still kind of a smaller core audience.
Yeah, probably so.
I agree that the Witcher 2 was kind of, it actually just kind of, for me, it just kind of snuck out of nowhere. It was like, oh, what is this game? Oh my God, it's awesome! Why have I not seen this before? But I think that if you're not watching, honestly, if you're not watching The Witcher 3, if you're not absorbing some of this stuff, then you absolutely need to. Anybody that's not needs to watch it. It looks amazing. It's open world, which is not, MMO people like myself and Troy and everybody else actually in here. That's the kind of stuff that we like. Even though it's a single player game, I think there's a lot of things that will appeal to the MMO player, the people that like the open world RPG. It looks really, really awesome, and I have to say this probably, if not the most biggest one that I'm looking forward to, it's at least in the top 2 or 3.
And if a developer has the balls to say, and I don't think this is the exact quote, but something along the lines of, we're going to make Skyrim look like a kiddie park ride. I mean, they're just putting themselves out there. They didn't wait for us to put them on the hype train. They're just like, yep, we're up here.
Yep. And very, 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 very few teams that I would believe that from, except for this. So it's probably the most gifted game I've ever gifted. Like giving it away on Steam, I give this game away all the time. As soon as I hear people like, "You never played that? I'm buying it and send it to you right now." So I would go play 2. 2 is just awesome. All right, let's talk about another MMO. What do you? No, you know what? Let's talk about another RPG first, because it kind of goes a little bit back to back between The Witcher and another. How do you guys feel about the new Dragon Age Inquisition? I'm kind of hyped up again about it. I loved the first Dragon Age, absolutely loved it, and especially in its old school combat style. I didn't love 2 as much. I don't even know if I finished 2, to be honest. I think I put it aside. But I think I'm on the hype train for Inquisition.
So I liked Dragon. I actually got into Dragon Age, the first one, in Dragon Age Origins later. They had already been released for a little while before I jumped into them, so I did like those, and I think they were really, really nice. And again, like you said, I like the combat as well. Dragon Age 2 was okay. Like the first chapter, second chapter was all right. There's a few things that I had to deal with, like dungeons kind of all looking the same. That was a little kind of seemed like they took the cheap route as far as that was concerned. And then Chapter 3 in Dragon Age 2 just killed it for me. Oh my God, this is horrible. I finished the game. I did finish it because I wanted to give it a shot. I wanted it to turn out better. I think that whole Chapter 3 just could have ended the game at Chapter 2 and it would have been fine. But and I was like, oh well, when Dragon Age 3 comes out, I'm just not going to pay attention to it at all, and I'm not excited about it. But these trailers have got me.
I mean, there's a whole new engine built, so visually it's stunning.
Oh, I
I
know.
mean, the new engine looks great, that's for sure, and the trailers are definitely looking like, you know, fun. I think that's the big thing. It's a question for the RPG fans out there is the story, right? And that's something that like
Right.
I love about The Witcher is that it's just no holds barred, really just down and dirty, like serious adult, like, you know, game. And Dragon Age, you know, BioWare used to be the go-to company for story, and I feel like they've kind of fallen off a little bit in the past couple years. And it's great games, but just not amazing games. I don't know. I'm hoping Inquisition is really pulls through. I'm definitely gonna play it. What about you, Troy?
Yeah.
I'm not really a Dragon Age guy. I made a major mistake. This is probably one of the most major mistakes in my gaming life. I was introduced to Dragon Age with Dragon Age 2.
I'm sorry,
bad,
sir.
bad.
I am
That is,
so sorry. I'm sorry.
So I actually owned the first one as well through some sort of bundle sale or something, but I've just never 2 burnt me. I was just, you know, I didn't finish the game. I was like, this is, why do people love this so much? So yeah, definitely one of my biggest gaming mistakes was entering with number 2.
One of the things I am afraid of, given some of the things that I've seen, I really liked the tactical style combat that Dragon Age, at least the Dragon Age 2 more. Well, I guess they both had this kind of thing. Dragon Age 2 was actually, this was the most intelligent thing about Dragon Age 2 was the NPCs and the way that the NPCs coordinated with you and how you could kind of program them to work in certain ways. And I thought that was really neat. And there really hasn't been an RPG that I can think of. I know somebody's going to prove me wrong, but that does something like that. And I hope that they carry that part of it over into Dragon Age 3. And I'm a little bit concerned that they're not. It seems a little bit less tactical, more straightforward. Kind of like the change between Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 is a little bit more, you know, what you had expected from a shooter. Mass Effect 1 was kind of like a shooter, but not exactly. And then Mass Effect 2 turned more into a shooter, and I'm afraid what's going to happen is that between Dragon Age 2, which had this very kind of tactical combat, that it's going to change and be a little bit more straightforward and almost first-person-y in Dragon Age 3. And I hope it doesn't.
We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. All right. I want to talk about there's a bunch of other games I want to go through here. First, take a quick break and talk about our sponsor, Audible. I want to hook you guys up with a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. Audiobooks on your iPhone, your Android, your iPad, Kindle Fire, whatever you got. Soon to be released Fire Phone come from Amazon. Let's check out this. We're doing a Star Wars show before this. Let's take a listen to this little Star Wars Dark Force Rising.
I find it unlikely that a man of talon, cards, cunning would set up a base in the middle of a forest without also setting up security contacts with others outside the immediate area. Hilliard City is too far from Card's base for anyone there to directly witness our attack. Hence, any sudden flurries of activity in the city will imply the existence of a more subtle line of communication.
I can listen to Mark
From that,
Thompson's
we'll be
voice
able to
forever.
identify Card's contacts and put them under
Written by Timothy Zahn. Star Wars Dark Force Rising, Book 2. Could be yours free. There's a bunch of other Star Wars books in there. If you haven't checked out Book 1, you can get Book 1 as well. There's a ton of them on there. All you got to do is use the URL audible.com/gamebreaker. Go over there, use that URL, sign up today, make a new account. You're going to get to try Audible absolutely free for 30 days, and you're going to get to choose one free audiobook. So check it out today, audible.com/gamebreaker. All right, let's talk about the Destiny. Destiny. Something to play on your PS4, finally. And your Xbox One, I guess. But you guys excited for Destiny? What do you guys think? For the people who brought you Halo.
Games, woo.
Are you guys not excited about Destiny? I am super excited for Destiny.
I've heard some really, really good things about it from my friends who play it, who own consoles, which I do not.
Oh, you guys are those guys. Those guys.
PC Master Race.
Oh, I agree with that.
Afraid so.
I agree, PC Master Race, but I've got a PS4 and I'm dying to play something on it, so this would probably be the first game I actually really, really hopefully enjoy on it. It looks gorgeous. I mean, I like, it's... Everybody's like, oh, is it an MMO? It's not really an MMO. It's this, that, the other. But I think it's going to be an interesting hybrid of multiplayer co-op style MMO gaming. It seems like a nice, like, I don't know. It actually, to be quite honest, a lot, from what I can tell, and still a lot of it seems to be not really laid out for us yet. And this could potentially be like something I really play for quite a while.
I know a lot of people, when we talked about it last time, a lot of people, because we were kind of comparing it to MMOs a little bit, and we had some people come back and say, well, it's not an MMO. Well, no, it's not. But of all the friends that I have that have played it, the thing I've heard it compared to more often than not, and don't get out of control because they're not saying it plays like this, but as far as the way the world works, is Neverwinter, where you've got, it's kind of a big open world, but it's kind of zoned off, and you go in and there's different phases, and you might run into somebody, but you can jump in and do the big bosses or the dungeon type content and things like that. So I mean, it is sort of MMO-ish. They may not want to call it an MMO. I mean, there's a lot of that out there. Nobody wants, certain companies don't want to have their game called an MMO, but I mean, it's a big open world, and you're going to run into people, and you're going to jump in and do things with people. And here again, it's gorgeous. I mean, look at this game.
I know, it looks just amazing.
You would probably be in love.
And I mean, that's the thing. So I've been saying this forever, is that, some of my favorite games like the Mass Effect series and Fallout and games like that, and Skyrim, every time I play those type of RPG games with a nice story arc or something, I always wish I could experience this with a few friends. And I don't need don't need a guild of 200 people in a normal MMO or something like that. It's always been like, wow, I wish I could just go through this and experience this with 2, 3, 4 of my buddies, and kind of have fun at it. And that's what this sort of, all signs point to. That's the way this is kind of laid out, right? It looks like you're going to be able to jump in, who's online, let's go do some missions, do this, progress the story together, do like some 4-player co-op kind of thing, maybe jump in and do some PvP over here, and kind of have this real, hopefully true co-op multiplayer experience.
Which
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm watching chat room and they're just like, Alpha was fun. I missed Alpha. Unfortunately, I was at E3 and I didn't sign up in time, but I watched a lot of the streams. Most of it was multiplayer and stuff. And it looked like people are saying, look at these, like, set pieces are just gigantic and gorgeous. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it.
We are getting rumors that they're talking PC. I mean, that's not like anywhere near confirmation. Oh, it's coming to PC, but the rumors are swirling at this point. So, I mean, who knows?
If it comes to PC, I'll jump in.
Yeah, if it comes to PC, I'm going to pick it up instantly, probably.
You think these guys are biased? I think so.
PC Master Race.
Yeah,
PC Master Race.
PC Master Race.
What do you guys think of The Division? Tom Clancy's The Division. People were like super on the hype train for this, and I feel like things are looking really great, but people are a little bit more cautious. I don't know, just a little bit of caution in the air right now about this game.
Because it looks so pretty and so realistic.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen that before, and it didn't quite turn out that way. Maybe. Watch Dogs.
What would you be referring to, Sarah?
Watch Dogs. maybe Watch Dogs.
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what I think of this one yet. I'm still kind of on the fence about it. I like the premise because it is. I am more. I do like post-apocalyptic kind of settings and those kind of things. So I am into that. But I'm not. I'm not sure yet. I definitely have to see more. I have to see. I definitely like this scene that you're showing right here with the map. That looks really interesting.
The map looks amazing.
Yeah, but I have to see more of it. I have to see more of how the game works, because this little thing that they did it seemed extraordinarily scripted, and that concerns me when I see something like that is really, really scripted. When it doesn't really appear to be people playing. Gosh, that I hate to say that they weren't playing, because maybe they were, but it seemed really, everything seemed to be.
Troy, you were super hyped on this. I remember when we first saw it. What were sort of the main sort of selling points for you that we've seen on paper? What's getting you so excited about it?
Well, the story, like Larry said, that post-apocalyptic setting is always, I'm always a sucker for that. If you say, the world came to an end, you're one of the few survivors, I'm like, yep, put me in, coach, I'm ready. They talk like it's got great story. I'm not the biggest shooter player in the world, but every once in a while one will come along that will really grab my attention, and if it looks this pretty, and it looks like it's got some of the great weapons and the story and the co-op, and this is a lot of things come together that'll make me want to play it. The problem being, Watch Dogs is, it's Ubisoft. It's not going to play well when it first comes out. From everything we've ever learned, it's going to be 3 months before I can even play this game. So the hype train, I'm kind of jumping off on this one a little bit, because I'm going to wait till it catches a Steam sale, unless they show me something else between now and then, and wait for it to be playable. So, I mean, but it just, there's so much potential there, but there always is every time Ubisoft shows us something. And it's just, how many times are we going to get burnt before I'm just like, I'm going to wait and just see what everybody else says about it once it's out.
I'm being somewhat cautious as well, but it looks great. I don't know, it looks great. I could see it. I do like the fact that we've got these new style multiplayer games coming that are MMOs, not MMOs, that sort of thing. Now, a single player game I absolutely loved. And now we've got the next one coming out, the Far Cry series, which I have to say, 1 and 2, not a fan. 3, loved it. I don't know if you guys played it. I loved that game. Ton of fun. Just intense, action-packed. Characters were like over the top and not too over the top. You guys fans of the Far Cry series?
They know how to let a villain carry their series, don't they?
They
create
do.
this really intriguing, interesting villain and just let him be the thing that just runs with it.
And I love that, because I feel like the Far Cry series didn't really start out as a really good kind of character story-driven series, I feel like. And until 3, they really nailed that one. I don't really know who came in behind the scenes to kind of help writing that stuff out, but it seems like they've really nailed it. I mean, they started out it was more about their engine, right? It was more about the technology of what this engine could do, and it was really cool, but now it's just they've really taken it to the next level. I'm super, super psyched for Far Cry 4.
They're doing a great job of character development. And I think even in 3, I think originally at some point early on in the development, the main antagonist, he wasn't even supposed to be that huge of a part of the story, but he was so intense and so intriguing that they went ahead and made him a big part. And I mean, right at the E3 reveal, what's the very first thing we see? This interesting, intriguing villain that makes you want to either play the game because it's awesome or shoot the dude right in the face because he's so evil. So I think they found their niche. They found the thing that is really going to put a signature on this franchise, and they're running with it, and I think it's the absolutely right thing to do right now. Create those characters. And
PC Master Race, Larry. PC Master Race on this one.
I have really nothing to add to what Troy said, because he's spot on. That's, if you can, which it seems that they have, if you can get a villain to propel you through a story like they appeared to do in Far Cry, and or Far Cry 3, and what they kind of, that's who they, like you said, that's who they introduced, was the villain, and I wanted to smack the guy because of who he was.
You hated him.
Yeah, that's great, and I think that's enough to definitely propel people through the game and make it interesting enough.
And let's not forget, chat room Evil reminding me, let's not forget co-op, right? Aren't they adding co-op to 4? How is that exactly going to work? Is it drop in, drop out co-op? How does that exactly happen?
I didn't actually see. I was under the impression that it was pick a mission and go, but that may not be correct.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure either.
Well, so
Chairman is saying I'm not sure. I don't know. I definitely recommend, if you guys haven't played Far Cry 3, you can usually pick those up on a sale. We just actually had it the other day for like $7.
Yeah,
so you should be checking the deals page on Game Breaker, because we had Far Cry 3 for like $7.50, I think. If you haven't played it, I'd pick it up. I would definitely pick it up. Nothing crazy. Very, very small MMO presence at E3. I was at E3, did the showroom floor, did the whole walk around thing. Saw the WildStar guys, talked to them. Great guys. Had beers with Frost, talked about metal and punk rock, and talked about WildStar.
We did see. I mean, we saw stuff like the next thing coming out with the ESO. We saw a little bit of WildStar stuff, and I honestly, I'm an MMO guy, and I wasn't really impressed with anything that the MMOs had to offer. There was one thing, and I mentioned this on Massively when they were asking about it, but I think the biggest thing for me from an MMO standpoint was not any one particular MMO, but when you have when you have Star Citizen, Eve Valkyrie, and Elite Dangerous all at the same show, trying to entice the players into their particular game, I think that is awesome because they're all kind of trying to one-up each other a little bit. And in fact, I mean, Star Citizen holding off on some of its releases, like the Dogfighter release right after Elite Dangerous said, "Hey, we're in beta now." Hey, and then Star Citizen held off and like, "Oh yeah, let's hold off on that a little bit so we can make it." It seemed like they were saying, "Okay, let's hold off a little bit so we can make something a little bit better than Elite." So I am I am interested in seeing that whole dynamic that kind of happened. I did I liked the walkthrough that Chris Roberts did. That was really cool. That was at E3, and then the Elite Dangerous video was really nice as well. And I think that showed off what Elite Dangerous is about. Valkyrie's kind of, I don't know what happened to Valkyrie, but anyway, I know they were there, but I don't know what they really did because those other two kind of shone a little bit brighter than Valkyrie, and I think that is really cool. That was the best thing to come out of MMOs, in my opinion.
All right, Noob Fridge, what's your highlight of E3? Games, conference, anything. What was your highlight?
Oh, highlight of E3. I thought the Nintendo press conference was very entertaining. I enjoyed that immensely. It wasn't introduced during E3, but seeing more of Shadow of Mordor, that's a hype train that I'm scared is going to crash at the end, but I'm still willing to take that ride.
You got really excited about that one. That's the Lord of the Rings next title.
Shadow of Mordor looks absolutely amazing. I mean, Assassin's Creed type movement and stealth, and with some magic and Batman inspired, combat, and you're in the world of Middle Earth. If that thing crashes and burns and is not worth a damn, I'll be out $50-$60. Oh well, I'm willing to take that risk.
Check the deals page. Maybe we'll save you some money. So I think we have 20% off. There you go. Larry, what's your highlight?
My highlight is the Nintendo stuff. I'm really looking. I grew up playing Legend of Zelda, and I grew up on Mario in the arcade, and actually in a local laundromat is where I first played Mario, and I'm really excited about that and being able to make my own levels, and also I really loved the Legend of Zelda series in general, and that's kind of what propelled me into RPGs in the first place, and I'm really looking forward to that open world Zelda. So that's the highlights for me.
I gotta go Witcher 3, shocker. I just favorite series probably ever, so gotta go Witcher 3. The more I see of it, the more I'm just drooling and just waiting to get that thing onto my hard drive and play it. 2015.
I don't think you can go wrong with that choice.
No, you can't go wrong with that choice. So go play 2, everybody. Just go grab it. That's another game. You can pick that one up for like $3 sometimes.
It was just on Steam. Like, really, really cheap.
If you like fantasy,
yeah,
it's a close.
More than worth $3 or $4.
I always tell everybody it's like the closest thing to Game of Thrones possible, like you could possibly play in a game. Like the story is so deep and rich and just great writing. Yeah. All right, Larry, ever follow him on the Twitter at Shadow SHADDOE, and go over to hyperspacebeacon.com, which is his website talking about all about Star Wars: The Old Republic. You want to go over there? Go there. Thanks for jumping on the show today, and. Troy Blackburn, follow him on Twitter at NoobFridge, 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 and right here on TWIMMO, as well as check out all his writing over on Gamebreaker, writing daily now, covering all the games and the culture. Good stuff. Witcher 3, and if you guys want free stuff in World of Tanks, everybody wants free stuff, right? Free stuff. We have free stuff. We have exclusive free stuff just for Gamebreaker peeps, just for our peoples. World of Tanks was cool enough to hook us up with codes. So go to gboffer.com/tanks, sign up, make a new account. The code's only good for new accounts, so not existing. So new accounts. And when you're filling out, I think I actually have it here. When you're filling out the new stuff there's an invite code area right there under the CAPTCHA. Put the code in GBTV in there, and we're going to hook you up with 3 days of premium. You're going to get 500 gold to spend in the shop. You're going to get a new tank slot, and you're going to get a T2 LT premium tank just for putting the code GBTV in. So thanks so much to the World of Tanks team for giving us some codes for our Gamebreaker peeps. So go check it out, gboffer.com/tanks. All right, we do the show live right now. It's on Sundays. Looks like We'll get back on track one of these days. We're trying. Another couple weeks. We'll be good. Have a great weekend, or what's left of it. It is Sunday when we're doing this, but have a great week, and we'll see you next week for This Week in MMO. Bye.